Hey everybody, Michelle is here in the building on a Thursday. And yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm going to consider though some acupuncture for because sometimes I've had issues with my back for years, but it hasn't really necessarily stopped me from any kind of activities that I need to handle. But I was told that acupuncture is a good method that may relieve some of the issues with my back. So I may consider that. Let's see what else going on. I put a post out that says, you really need to be careful and be mindful of people who are pushing you and pushing you and pushing you, calling themselves coaches per se, and they're like pushing you and pushing you to complete a certain type of task or get a certain type of result, or even try to push you towards your so-called path and your so-called journey and destination. It's okay that like I said, we have to get over the fact that we need to be motivated, number one. And I also said go to something that sparks you, like an inspiration. Every time I think about my inspiration, it does inspire me. And I really don't need anything else. I don't need to be motivated as such. I know that there's things that I have to do. And if I don't do it, it does more harm to me than anybody else. This is about the individual and the accountabilities and responsibilities of the individual. But you'd love to have people come out that call themselves coaches, life coaches, and this and that and the other, and they haven't walked the talk. Okay, that has happened to me so many times, and usually what they are doing is they're just establishing themselves, and they're not being completely honest about their genuine efforts, which brings them to where they are. Now, there's a lot of people that are coaches out there who have made efforts and have proof and documentation, and they also have results to prove that, okay, my formula works, my advice works, my blah 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 works. But rarely, you're not going to find that people are being honest about their experiences. Just put it this way. And so they can easily push. They're like the person that will push you off a cliff, telling you you're going to be all right when they've never been off a cliff. Or they push you to do bungee jumping and they've never bungee jumped in their life. Or they coach you to jump out of a plane, and that kind of stuff. In other words, they've not experienced any of it. Okay? Some of them are so persuasive, so convincing about their results and what they know and their knowledge. And all it is just a bunch of smoke and mirrors, in my opinion. They don't have a track record. They don't have a necessary path, a path of failure as well as success. Most of the people that I support, and I'll support them forever, and I told them, a couple of them, you don't have to prove nothing to me. Your results your efforts and your results are enough for me. Okay, but then I question some people that I've, that I know over the course of time, and I question their results because they have no experience. Okay, but yet they can read a book, okay, or read a guide, or and I told you back in the day for marketing, what used to happen is people will find out what everybody's searching for. They had that technology even back then, and it's more enhanced now to know exactly what you're searching for, and so they'll become an expert overnight. They have no experience in this field at all, no experience in that type of employment, blah blah blah. But yet overnight they're a fitness coach. Okay, and you had a lot of people doing this deception. I think people are figuring it out. They'll go in and get surgery, to get the ideal look the ideal body structure, and then they'll come back and claim that, they did that, it all was accomplished in a gym. That kind of lying and deception and manipulation. So please just remind yourself that you are responsible for your destiny. You're responsible for your dreams, your fantasies, your imagination. And you can always get information from people. But, a lot of people that are creative, and more thought-provoking type of people know the right questions to ask. We all get manipulated. I've been manipulated, honey. So many times. Because, if someone is, I had to understand the difference between, these type of deception methods. Because some people are very, like I said, very good at talking, but they're not walking the talking. They're very great at convincing you out of their mouth, with the verbally. But then, a lot of us get so caught up in the excitement that these people can manifest. They get you all excited, get you all worked up, claim you can make $1 million a year, claim you can make $500,000 a year. A lot of it's a pyramid scheme. I told you, majority of it is a pyramid scheme. But every now and then, every so often, you get people that, oh God, there we go. Sometimes these drivers just, I don't know. I don't know what's really going on sometimes. But sometimes you'll get people that wants to change the game. All right, and usually these people that are changing the game, I mean, they are experienced. Okay, that's why they have that capacity to do so. Okay, they probably have been manipulated too, and know what it, know that some people are not walking the talk. They may have lost money in these pyramid schemes and scams, and so now they step back and kind of reevaluate themselves, which is fantastic, magnificent, and marvelous, because that's what you're supposed to do. And they make sure, and so they do what they can to create out of experience, create out of failure, and also create out of success. So you can create out of failure, by the way. A lot of people do not want to get their hands dirty, do not want to roll around in the dirt. They want everything handed to them on a silver platter. And some people, that's how it is for them. Like some of these old money, so-called entrepreneurs, their parents are funding everything. So they have nothing to lose, per se. So they can go out and lose $1 million. It's not their money. They didn't earn it. It's old money. So it means nothing to them. There's so many people like that, too, who has mommy and daddy's trust funds. These trust fund people, or these so-called, what do they call them? Nepotism, children, or adults or whatever that benefit from nepotism. Okay, they haven't not been told that they need to do anything, but just use mommy and daddy, to fund you, and then anything goes. There's no consequences, because, like I said, they didn't earn this money. It's old money. So you have a lot of that. These trust fund entrepreneurs, running around, talking about all of this, talking about all that, and all they're doing is riding coattails. Okay, let's just call it what it is, and not be offended that people are recognizing that a lot of that smoke and mirrors happens. There are some nepotism types who do not ride coattails and do not jump on bandwagons, but it's very far. It's few. It's not many. Okay, and so so it's not new blood per se. It's just a continuation of the same status quo. So again, first of all, know who you are, what you are, and why you are. You have to do those type of things, and be very leery of these so-called leaders, these so-called coaches and teachers. I told you there's a lot of false shit out there, and you're gonna have to find out the hard way. And for the rest of our lives and the continuing far into the future, that's what it's gonna be about. You're gonna have to keep continually seeking to discern people and try to figure out, okay, who's telling me the truth and who's not. And a lot of people just don't have the patience. They just want instant success or instant results, and they're not considering, that some things come in stages. Like for me, I have over 30 years of meditation. So yes, I consider myself an expert in meditation. But so what? What does that mean? Nothing. It doesn't mean that you're going to get necessarily the results I have, unless you have just as, if you have over 30 years, you won't need me per se, but I can enhance anybody's experience in meditation because I consider myself an expert. And, and because it's a beautiful thing, and meditation, of anything that I know and experience in my life, meditation is the one thing that you will get results. If you practice no thought meditation, I can guarantee you that you will get results. And it can be life-changing, it can be revealing, it can be all those kind of things. So that's why you have to know who you are, what you are, and why you are, and why it is so important to meditate and not listen to someone, rambling about, stuff that they have no experience in because they got a couple of years of meditation. I told you I got over 30 years. All right. So, and that means nothing, per se. But I do walk the talk. Just put it that way. So I'm out and about, running around, handling my business, feeling good like I know I should. Enjoying the moments, enjoying myself, learning a new city. And you know what? Another thing too, it is so good. Your brain, your mind, your thought, your consciousness, whatever you think this is in your skull, needs to have some type of needs instructions, needs some experiences to work with. So me learning this new city is doing some fantastic things to my knowledge base, my consciousness, my psyche, whatever. Even though sometimes it's like, oh my God, I'm lost, because that's I told you, a weakness of mine, and a lot of people don't like to call out their weaknesses, is destinations, knowing, directions. But this city, I realize, which is so kind of funny, this city is probably one of the easiest cities in the world to learn. Just know what the landmarks, tell people landmarks where you are, okay? And you remember, certain places, all you have to do is call out a certain landmark and they know exactly where you are. You understand me? So I kind of have to laugh about it because, sometimes I get myself all kind of worked up over stuff because, that's just how it is. Just get myself worked up and get myself concerned about this and that and the other, which is, it's kind of irrelevant and kind of, this causes a little bit more unnecessary anxiety. So let me find me a parking space, get on up in here and do what I got to do. But I want to send peace and love to everyone over the stars, over the moon and mountains. Like I said, you control your narrative. You control your destiny. It's okay to get advice and information from people, but make sure you ask the right questions of these so-called coaches and these so-called mentors and teachers and this and that and the other, and say, okay, all right, so you're 15 years old and you've done what? I'm just joking, but you'll find some of these. I don't want to pick on ages, but come on now. All right, let's be realistic and be able to show results. Show some results of what you've been able to generate. And visually is best for me, but some people want to hear it, and some people want to feel it. But visually it's the best for me. And like I say, once someone has proven to me and can showcase their efforts, you don't have to prove a goddamn thing to me ever again. I will support you. Okay, and there's very few like that, by the way. So I'm gonna go ahead and send peace and love again, and trust me, I'll be back.